Hi, I'm Rita. Welcome back to my booktube channel, Life Worth Reading. This is going to be my most unhinged video yet. I think this will be the most unhinged video I will ever film. So I hope that you are ready to go along on this journey with me because it's about to get rough. So recently I've been really hating my hair. I don't know why. I just go through phases like that. Like I let my hair grow and then I'm just like, I hate it so badly. Like I genuinely hate my hair. And so instead of being a normal person, instead of going to the hairdressers to fix this problem and have my hair professionally cut, I'm just going to cut it at home right now. It's not my first time doing this. Can you tell? It's not the first time that I've cut all my hair off at home. I am unhinged as a person. And I'm ready to go through it again. I'm ready to cut it all off again. And I thought, why not let you watch me slowly lose my mind while I give you my mid-month wrap-up. Instead, it's not mid-month at all. It's the 22nd of January, I think. So it's almost the end of the month wrap-up. But I need something that I can talk about while I lose my mind cutting my hair. And so I thought that I could talk to you about the 7 books that I've already read in January. So let's go. Let's just start. I feel like I may need to adjust this. Okay, I feel like this is a good way to go. So I basically just have this giant mirror right next to me and I'll be looking at it for most of the video. And I have watched my king Brad Mondo's video on how to cut hair at home because I don't really remember how I did it last time. And I'm just going to cut my hair while I talk to you about books. I think this is the worst video idea I've ever had. My dog came to visit me before I fucked up my entire hair. So everyone say hi. Hi, Bestie. Bestie, it's time to go so mommy can cut her hair. So what's going on is that I have my trusty little scissors. Are they hair scissors? No, they are not. They are my kitchen scissors. I mean, what did you expect? I also have a bowl right here so I can let all my hair fall here, hopefully. And without further ado, let's just get started. So I'm just going to comb my hair through. And we can talk about a book that I've already talked about in my last vlog, and that is Within These Wicked Walls by Blackwood. This is the first book that I read in 2022. I regret doing so because it really started off my year not well. Can you? Okay, bye. As I was saying, I started Within These Wicked Walls actually, like, I think on the last day of 2021, and I didn't like it right away, which was probably a sign that I should have DNF'd it right then and there. But I finished. No, I didn't finish it. I DNF'd it at 80% because it was just a whole mess. I was really excited for this. It's like a loose retelling of Jane Eyre, which I haven't read. So why was I excited about that? I don't know. But it was a retelling of Jane Eyre, and basically it was just a whole mess. Like, it was supposed to be like this gothic story with like some horror elements, like a heavy romance, and I was like, I'm so here for this. She's in a haunted house. She's gonna fall in love with the guy that owns the house. It's gonna be so great. But it was just not that at all. First of all, it had the worst case of insta love I've ever seen in my entire life. The guy that owns the house is like 21, which is like, I get it, but also he just wanted to act like way older than he was, and it was kind of annoying. And speaking of annoying, our main character, Andromeda, she was really annoying. And they just had the worst case of insta love I have ever seen in my life. Like, they met, and less than a week later, they're like, I would die for you. You are my soulmate. Like, I love you. Till death do us part. And I'm like, chill. You've met a week ago. Relax. It's not that deep. And then the gothic horror elements weren't good as well. Like, it was like this haunted house that was the manifestation of what they call the evil eye. So like what we call the evil eye, but it like can manifest and actually like haunt a house. And it was supposed to be that, but the manifestations were just so, they didn't make any sense. Like the horror elements just, okay, I think that's better. The horror elements were just not good at all. And it really didn't do it for me. Can you tell that I really didn't like it? Okay, and I'm just going to check on what little Brad tells me to do now that I've combed my hair, and I'll be right back. I've just sectioned off my hair. I am looking fabulous. Yes, I know. Thank you so much for your concern. And now I just have to decide where I actually want to cut my hair. Okay, so let's talk about it. I've just cut my hair. The first section is done. I'm just trimming it because I didn't do that great of a job at first. So now I'm just trimming it. And why don't we talk about the second book that I read in January? And that was The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, which was also a disappointment. It was also 2 stars. What can I say? This month did not start off with a bang. So basically this book is about a summer camp, and it's about our main character Emma, and she was 13 when she went to this camp. I'm sorry, my dog is just walking around and his little paws make so much noise. I'm sorry. And she goes to this camp and she stays in the cabin with some other girls that are slightly older than her. So the girls are like 16 and she's 13, right? Okay, stop sneezing, please. And then one night they just leave the cabin and they disappear forever. So they are never seen again. Their bodies are never found. And you know what? Emma struggled because of this. She is a painter now, 15 years later, I think. She's a painter now, and she's always painting the girls, the girlies, the missing girlies. She's always painting them. And we see in her inner monologue that she feels kind of guilty about something. So it's kind of sus. What's happening there, you know? And then 15 years later, she is invited back to the camp to be a counselor. And she's just like, yeah, I'm going back and I'm going to find out what the hell happened to those girls. Why did I do a certain accent? I don't know. So she's like, I'm going to find out what happened to these girlies. But as we know, drama does ensue. And because of this, she starts getting tormented, and she's just like, she really wants to find out all these secrets, but like the family that owns the summer camp has a lot of secrets. And we also know that she feels guilty about something that happened with the girls, but we don't know what it is. Basically, Riley Sager is very good at setting vibes. Like, I have to admit, like, he's really good at like ambiance and settings and making you feel like you are in a certain place, which I really do appreciate. But other than that, this book was kind of a flop. I'm not gonna lie, the plot twists were not good. I did not vibe with our main character Emma, and it did not go for me. Like, all the red herrings didn't work. What you thought would be the main plot twist would actually honestly be kind of good compared to what actually happened, and it was just kind of a flop. Like, it also annoyed me that this was very like PLL reminiscent. Like, one of the girls that disappears, like the queen bee, is called Vivian, and Vivian is just like a bootleg version of Alison De Laurentiis. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, that's exactly what she is. I'm not sure if Riley Sager was a PLL stan, but she is Alison De Laurentiis, but like not as good, because as we know, Sasha really killed that role, and Alison was a bit of an icon. And so it just felt like a Walmart version of her. And I've never even been to Walmart, so you can see how much I did not like her. I am clearly a cut first, think later kind of person. And I feel like that's perfectly okay with my personality. You know what? It could be worse. Honestly, it really could. I'm weirdly okay with this. It could be a lot worse. I'm going to fix it, but just know that this could be a lot worse than what it is. Okay, so here's the problem. It's looking kind of good at the front, but it is not looking good like here in the back. So I have to fix that. But I feel like the more I fix it, the more uneven it gets. All right, what else have I read this month? When I did that reading vlog last week, I was reading Cultish, The Language of Fanaticism by Montell. I really enjoyed that book. I gave it 3 or 3.5 stars because although it was an interesting insight into the type of language that cults use to attract people and make them stay in certain groups, I thought that towards the end, Amanda Montell, the author, just tried to do too much at once. And when she started bringing in other types of groups, like she tries talking about MLMs and pyramid schemes and workout groups like CrossFit, workout classes, when she tried to bring all that in, it just was too much for too little time. And so when she talked about those things, even though it was very, very interesting, it just did not have, like, she did not have the page count and the time to actually dedicate herself to talking deeply about those things. So I would rather that she didn't include them at all, because it just felt a little bit too broad. Like, she didn't go in deep enough for me to fully feel like I learned something about those groups specifically. Other than that, I had a really good time listening to the audiobook. I listened to it really fast because it was just very entertaining, and if you are interested in the subject, I would definitely recommend it. Just don't expect like the most, I don't know, just don't expect the most like deep book you will read in your life, and don't expect to learn that much, I would say. Okay, I'm kind of done with fixing it on this side, so let's just cut on this side. I feel like that's going to be the worst part for sure. I feel like this will not go well. So I need to be really straight right now. Hold on. Okay, so this is how it's looking. I haven't cut much for my hair, as you can see. I've only cut this, and it's slightly okay. Not to toot my own horn, but I think it's looking pretty good. All right, my loves, hold on. All right, that's a little bit better. My hair is more cut. It is still very uneven on this side, as you can maybe tell, maybe not. But I just wanted to continue with my book reviews, because this is a booktube video after all, isn't it? The next book that I read was The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova. And I really, really loved this book. It was one of my first attempts into magical realism, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's the story of Orquídea Divina. She is this matriarch from Ecuador, but she lives in 4 valleys, and it's a story of magic, of her whole family. And I wish that it was more based on her, actually, even though that's the whole point of the book. But basically, we start off the book when she is dying. She sends a letter to all her children, all her grandchildren, all of her family, and says, "I'm dying, please come collect your inheritance." And so all of her family basically goes on and does just that. They go to her house to collect their inheritance, even though they do not know what that is. So basically, she doesn't really die. She's actually transformed into a tree. So that's that. And what ends up happening is that 7 years later, the family kind of starts dying off one by one, and some weird things start happening to them. And so they have to go to Ecuador for the first time and find out more about their grandmother. I really, really love this book. The writing was absolutely phenomenal. The audiobook was really phenomenal, and I really enjoyed it. But I will say that I wish that we had more about Orquídea. Basically, she had 5 husbands and all that, but we just never really know anything about that. We kind of get stuck on her relationship with her first husband and how she obtained her magic and all of that, and we never really dive into what happens after. And I thought that was a bit of a shame, because I wish we could have followed her more throughout her life. So I wish we got to see more of what happened to her, how she moved on, for example, from her first husband to the rest of her husbands, how she met them, how she raised her children more. I wish we got to see some more of that, but we didn't. And I will say that towards the end, like, the plot was just a little bit too convoluted. Like, it was just going for a bit too long, in my opinion. I wish the author would have cut it a little bit more. But other than that, I will say that I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 stars, and it was a really good listening experience. So if you're wanting to read this book, I definitely recommend the audiobook, actually. After that, I listened to Hola, Papi, How to Come Out in a Walmart Parking Lot and Other Life Lessons by John Paul Braummer. I had no idea who the hell John Paul Braummer is, I'm not gonna lie, but the title really appealed to me. It was like an audiobook, and I was like, I'm gonna listen to. And so basically, John Paul is a biracial man that was born in Oklahoma, and basically these are just like essays about his life. It's kind of like a memoir, and he's a writer, and he had this column where people ask him for advice, and they always started with hola, papi. And so he just talked about his life while giving advice, kind of. So like each essay was prompted by a question, kind of. And so he talks about his experience being biracial in Oklahoma and not ever feeling like he was truly Mexican. He always talks about his experience growing gay in Oklahoma and the bullying that comes with it, hookups, relationships, love, career, all of that. And I really loved listening to this. I just wanted to hug him the whole time. Like, even though it was really fun and funny, like, the author is really funny, there were always also some serious moments. So trigger warning for bullying, mental health, depression, suicide attempts, trigger warnings for all of that. But other than that, the book was actually really funny. I just had so much fun listening to this, and I feel like I learned a lot about John Paul, and I'm definitely a fan of him now. He's a great writer, and I really enjoyed this book. I think that I'm done for now. I still have 2 books to talk about, but I'll talk about them later. But I think that I'm done for now. I'll show you the final results soon. I just need to clean up this mess that is my hair. And I need to vacuum my whole room because I fucked everything up. Hi, so I'm back. I just went to have lunch, and I went to wet my hair a little bit. I washed it, so it is looking a little bit more fresh. And I just wanted to show you, like, clearly the final result, and also just to finish up talking about the books that I actually wanted to talk about. I have 2 other books to talk about for this unhinged mid-month wrap-up, but yeah, I thought that I could just show you. It's still a little bit uneven in some places, but you know what? I'm actually really happy with it. I was really hating my hair, and I feel like I always love short hair on me more. So overall, I'm just really happy how it turned out. Let me know if you think it turned out well. Roast me if you want to. I would also appreciate that. Do whatever you want in the comments. But yeah, let's just talk about the 2 other books that I read in January. The next book that I wanted to talk about, God, it was also a disappointment. And I'm a little bit scared of talking about this book. I'm not gonna lie. It was Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Malinda. This was a book that I have been wanting to read since last year. It's been on my radar for a long time, and I've been really meaning to read it. It's about this main character, Lily, and Lily lives in Chinatown in the 50s in San Francisco, and she is slowly, like, discovering her sexuality. So she thinks, because of a friend in school that she's, like, striking up this friendship with, she thinks that she might be gay. And so I really was excited to read this book. I love historical fiction, and sapphic historical fiction. It sounded really good to me, but it did not deliver. Personally, like, in my opinion, like, I am the only person in the world that must think this way. I have seen nothing but 4 and 5 stars ratings for this book, but it just didn't work for me. I didn't vibe with the writing. It wasn't that the writing was bad. Like, the writing was good, but you know when the writing is objectively good, but you just personally, like, don't click with it? Like, I just didn't click with it. Like, it didn't vibe with me personally. And so because I didn't really enjoy the writing, it was just kind of boring. I'm so sad about this. I just thought it was boring, which doesn't usually happen to me. Like, I love historical fiction. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, historical fiction is so boring. Like, I really enjoy it. So I don't know what happened to me here, but overall, I gave it 3 stars. I didn't really connect with the characters. I liked Lily. I cared for her, but I just didn't really vibe with the other characters. I wasn't really that invested in her relationship with Kath. And then I did not like the ending. Was it realistic? Maybe, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it ended. And so because I was just like so about it, it's a 3-star. I'm very sad. I will still read anything that Malinda puts out because I don't know, I just want to try again. If she ever publishes another book, like I want to try again. But this is a book that I was really excited about, and it didn't work for me. It was a 3-star, so it was kind of a disappointment. And the last book that I want to talk about is a book that I read all of it yesterday. I started it and I finished it. I actually started a vlog for it, but I deleted the whole footage because, yeah, it wasn't good. But it's The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. This was in my January TBR, as you may have known. I buddy read this with my bestie Kitty here on SPICYKATZ on BookTube, and we really enjoyed it. They gave it 5 stars. I gave it 4. Only because like I've read 5-star romances and I know that feeling when I finish them. And this was like, oh, this is really cute, this is really great. But it wasn't that like I will reread this until I die and I will think about these people forever. Like it just wasn't that for me. But if you don't know what The Love Hypothesis is, like I don't even know like how to explain this. I will say that I feel like this book is about two students. They're not both students. It's about our main character Olive, and she is a PhD student at Stanford, and she starts this fake dating relationship with her senior, like this 30-something-year-old man that's already like a doctor. So she's studying to become a PhD student, but he is already a doctor, and he's like really intimidating, and everyone around the lab like kind of doesn't like him because he's very mean and stuff. And so she starts this fake dating relationship with him. The problem with this is that people ruined this book for me because everyone just kept saying that it was like Rilo fan fiction in which the love interest is supposedly Adam Driver, and that just ruined the whole book for me. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't care about Adam Driver, and I don't think that he's attractive, so like I just couldn't stop picturing him in the book, and that really, I didn't have the hots for him. And I feel like that's really important in a romance book, like you also like being like giddy about the love interest, and I just wasn't, because I was like, yeah, it's Adam Driver, okay, he has abs, cool. So I feel like that really diminished my enjoyment of this book, but overall it was really cute. Let me just say, like the first third of the book, they were the most unprofessional students and doctors I have seen in my life. I'm just gonna put it out there. Some of the scenes in the beginning were a little bit cringe, a little bit, just because some of them were like in a professional setting, and I was just like, this, if this ever happened in this exact setting but like in real life, people would die of embarrassment. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. It was really cute. The writing was like super easy to get into. Like Hazelwood is a very talented writer in terms of, it's not the most beautiful writing that you've ever read, but it's like really easy to get into, and it flows really nicely, and it just gets you in the story and you just want to keep on reading. And so yeah, I read all of it yesterday. I gave it 4 stars. I'm very happy to have read it and have liked it, because it was a very hyped romance book, so I was a little bit scared that I would just not enjoy it, but I'm really glad that I did. How do I even finish this video? I really don't know. I hope that you enjoyed watching my slow descent into madness as I cut my own hair at home. I honestly think I blacked out. I don't know if any of the book talks that I gave made any sense. Like, I'm still going to edit this and figure out if anything I said made sense. But I hope that you enjoyed this. I really liked the final result, and if you want to book me as your hairdresser at home, just DM me and we'll make it work. I hope that you did enjoy watching this video. I hope that it wasn't too painful to watch me cut my own hair. I don't know. But if you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. And I'll see you in my next video. I hope you have a nice day, and always remember that life is worth reading.